The system is rigged, and they are cashing in on your silence. Last year, Airlines pulled in a staggering $6.7 billion just from baggage fees. Stop. A single extra inch on your suitcase can cost you $99. That is not a service fee. It is a penalty for existing. They are counting on you to walk up to that gate unprepared. The bag didn't grow, but the metal sizers definitely shrank. Shifting flight patterns, shrinking legroom, and hidden surcharges are the new normal. You are being targeted for your ignorance. But knowledge is the only thing they cannot tax. Here are 16 rules to help you strike back and protect your wallet. Rule 1 of 16. Liam, a 24-year-old financial analyst, stood at the gate in Kansas City International, MCI, holding a backpack he had used for 5 years. He never had an issue until today. The gate agent pointed at the metal sizer with a look of pure indifference. Liam tried to shove the bag in, but the frame caught on the top handle. It failed by half an inch. The agent did not hesitate. He handed Liam a credit card reader. $99 for a gate check fee. Liam felt the heat of embarrassment as the line behind him grew restless. Here is the fix. To beat the system, never pack your personal item to the brim. Leave at least 20% of the interior space empty. This allows you to physically compress the bag into the sizer frame if they challenge you. Wear your heaviest hoodie and stuff your pockets with chargers to offload weight. While this often works, remember that budget carriers are getting stricter. Liam paid the fee today, but he will never make that mistake again. You just saved $100. But that is nothing compared to the time you lose when Rule 2 of 16 hits your schedule. Rule 2 of 16. Check the departure board every 5 minutes or risk being stranded in a foreign city. Isaac, a 42-year-old financial advisor, stood at Terminal 5 in London Heathrow, LHR. His eyes locked on a glowing red status screen. 1 out of every 3 flights on this carrier arrives late, and Isaac was watching his connection window vanish in real time. The system is designed to keep you waiting in your seat while the options disappear. Isaac didn't wait for the announcement. He immediately checked for alternative connections through the Airlines mobile app before the gate agent even touched the microphone. Most people wait for the bad news to be delivered to them. The pros get ahead of it. While taking initiative is not a 100% guarantee of a seat, it puts you at the front of the digital line. Isaac secured the last seat on a flight, leaving 2 hours later. He made it home. Most passengers ignore the board until it is too late. Don't be one of them. But even a perfect schedule won't save you from Rule 3 of 16 and the secondary airport trap. Rule 3 of 16. Julian, a 31-year-old nurse, stepped onto the tarmac at Athens International, ATH, feeling like a genius for snagging a $12 ticket. Then reality set in. He wasn't anywhere near the historic city center. He was miles away in a remote terminal. He faced a $90 taxi fare and a 2-hour bus ride through grueling peak traffic. This is the classic budget airline trap. They save money by landing at secondary hubs in the middle of nowhere, and they bank on you ignoring the map until you have already landed. Julian's savings vanished before he even cleared customs. To beat this, always factor in the last mile cost before you click Buy. A $70 ticket to a central hub is often significantly cheaper than a $10 seat that leaves you stranded in a different zip code. Julian reached his hotel at midnight, exhausted and broke. Regret is the most expensive part of travel. But Julian's transport fare is nothing compared to Rule 4 of 16 and the premium pet fee. Rule 4 of 16. Is your pet really worth a $150 fee for a tiny 2-hour flight? Chloe, a 29-year-old marketing specialist, didn't think so until she hit the gate at Denver International, DEN. She had flown with her terrier before, but this time the agent pulled out a measuring tape. They hope you don't know the fine print. If your pet cannot stand up and turn around completely inside the carrier, they can deny you boarding. Chloe's carrier was exactly 1 inch too short, according to the agent's rigid interpretation. Her $150 fee turned into a canceled trip and a long drive home. Here's the fix. Always verify the specific pet dimensions 48 hours before your departure. Use a soft-sided carrier for that extra ½ inch of flexibility under the seat. Chloe eventually found a larger bag for her next trip, but the lesson cost her a weekend of vacation. A high price for a pup. But a pet fee is nothing compared to the corporate warfare of Rule 5 of 16. Rule 5 of 16. American Airlines failed to hit their on-time mark nearly 25% of the time in early 2024. Are you willing to gamble with those odds? Caleb, a 45-year-old software engineer, wasn't. He found himself stranded at Frankfurt, FRA, for 12 hours after a mechanical delay. The airline offered him a $12 meal voucher. A basic sandwich at that terminal cost $15. This is where they count on you to give up. Caleb didn't just sit on his suitcase and complain. He knew the local rules. Even U.S. airlines flying out of Europe must follow regional duty of care laws regarding delays. He approached the customer service desk and politely mentioned his right to proper meals and a hotel for the overnight stay. It worked. He walked away with a room voucher worth $200. Reality check. Weather delays are usually exempt, but for mechanical issues, it pays to speak up. Caleb slept in a bed instead of a terminal floor. Subscribe to beat the system, but that is nothing compared to the chaos of Rule 6 of 16. Rule 6 of 16. Forget everything you once heard about United Airlines being the industry's favorite target for complaints. Mia, a 22-year-old photographer, stood at a chaotic gate in Madrid, MAD, with her heart racing. She had exactly 45 minutes to catch her connection, and the old horror stories of lost bags were playing on loop in her head. The airline won't tell you this, but they have spent millions fixing the logistics that used to fail their passengers. They profit when you stay loyal, but they lose when things go south. Mia watched the status board nervously. Their new automated rebooking system is now designed to move you to the next available flight before you even realize there is a problem. She boarded her flight and arrived home earlier than expected. Smart travelers ignore old reputations and look at the current data. Reliability has a new face in the sky. But staying on schedule is only half the battle. Wait until Rule 7 of 16 recalculates the cost of your loyalty. Rule 7 of 16. Leo, a 55-year-old architect, stood in the middle of Brussels Airport, BRU, staring at the departure board with sweat on his brow. He was paralyzed by indecision. Should he stick with his delayed budget carrier or pivot to a legacy airline? That is when he saw the Delta logo. Delta isn't just an airline. It is a logistics machine. The airline won't tell you this, but their 83% on-time rate makes them the safe bet of the American skies. They are banking on your ignorance of these stats to keep you guessing at the gate. Leo wondered if the extra $200 for a last-minute ticket was worth the peace of mind. Most people hesitate when they see a high price tag, but Leo knew the cost of missing his meeting was higher. If the data says they fly while others are grounded, trust the numbers. Leo booked the seat and made it to his presentation on time. Reliability is not a luxury. It is a strategy. But even data won't help when you face Rule 8 of 16. Rule 8 of 16. Have you ever watched your plane push back from the gate while your suitcase sits lonely on the tarmac? This nightmare became real for Ava, a 27-year-old dental hygienist from Portland, while she was waiting at Newark, EWR. She was flying to London, a trip she had planned for a year. Suddenly, agents announced a weight imbalance and began pulling checked bags. This is where they screw you. Most passengers just pray, but Ava was prepared. She had slipped an air tag into her luggage and immediately photographed her gate check tag. When her phone showed the bag was still in the terminal, she didn't panic. She moved her medication and jewelry to her personal item instantly. Ava's bag didn't make the flight, but she used her tracking data to secure a $200 voucher and a delivery guarantee before she even landed. Small win, big relief. But that is nothing compared to the global changes coming in Rule 9 of 16. Rule 9 of 16. 70,000. That is the number of seats Air India is replacing right now to erase decades of grime and poor reviews. Samuel, a 38-year-old history professor from Boston, BOS, was beyond skeptical when booking his long-haul flight. He expected the classic experience, broken armrests and screens that never turned on. A cheap seat is usually an expensive mistake. The system is rigged to make you think a logo change solves everything. But the parent company is actually pouring $400 million into a total cabin overhaul. They are banking on your ignorance of their new Vihan plan. It is a massive gamble for the airline and the passenger. Samuel noticed the difference the moment he stepped onto the newly leased plane. The laughingstock era is fading, though some older planes still linger in the fleet. Don't expect perfection on every route just yet. But a working seat is just the start. It won't save you if you miss your connection because you ignored Rule 10 of 16. Rule 10 of 16. Skip the chaos of Europe's mega hubs. Most people think Frankfurt is the only way into the continent, but that is a major mistake. When Elena, a 33-year-old graphic designer, left Salt Lake City, SLC, for a wedding in Naples, she didn't realize her connection was a trap. Frankfurt has security lines that stretch for miles and terminal walks that feel like a marathon. Elena missed her flight by 5 minutes. The airline won't tell you this, but there is a better way to fly. Book your layover in Munich, MUC, instead. It is compact, efficient, and consistently ranked as one of the best in the world. You can cross the terminal in 10 minutes, not 40. The system is rigged to push you through the biggest hubs, but the pros choose the smoothest ones. Subscribe to beat the system. Munich wins and Frankfurt fails. But even a perfect airport won't save you from Rule 11 of 16. Rule 11 of 16. Marcus, a 48-year-old real estate agent, sat at the gate in Philadelphia, PHL, staring at the departure screen. 17 hours in a metal tube. No exits and no fresh air. His pulse quickened. The airline won't tell you this, but ultra-long flights are a psychological endurance test. Most people think it is just a long nap, but they are wrong. It is a battle against dry air and high-altitude fatigue. Marcus gripped his armrest as the boarding call echoed. This isn't just a flight. It's a marathon. They are banking on your ignorance of how to survive these pressurized environments. You have to move. Every 2 hours, you must walk the aisle to keep your blood flowing. If you stay still, you are a sitting duck for stiff joints and deep vein issues. Marcus survived the trip, but only because he stayed active. Staying still is the trap. Motion is your only defense. But physical comfort won't save you when Rule 12 of 16 hits your wallet. Rule 12 of 16. Why would you pay $1,200 for a flight when 5-star quality costs $800? Silas, a 26-year-old web developer, stood in Amsterdam, AMS, staring at the departure screens. He was confused. The major legacy carriers were charging top-tier prices, but right next to them was EVA Air. It consistently ranks in the top 10 worldwide, yet their tickets are often hundreds of dollars less. The system is rigged to make you think higher price equals better service. That is false. Silas realized he could get the same Boeing 787 Dreamliner experience for a fraction of the cost. Cheap ticket, luxury reality. Silas saved $400 on his trip to Asia. Most people pay for the name on the tail of the plane, not the quality of the seat. Don't be one of them. But even a cheap ticket won't help you if the noise levels in the cabin are Rule 13 of 16. Rule 13 of 16. Did you know noise on an older flight often hits 85 decibels? That is equivalent to standing next to a loud lawnmower for 10 hours straight. Jasper, a 52-year-old civil engineer, was flying through Charlotte, CLT. He was exhausted before he even took off. The constant hum of the old engines felt like a physical weight on his head. By the time he landed, he had a splitting migraine. They hope you don't know this rule. Older cabins are designed for volume, not comfort. Here is the fix. Look for the Airbus A350. It is a quiet sanctuary. This aircraft uses engines that are 40% quieter than previous models. Jasper finally tried it on his next trip. He sat in the 22-inch wide seat and realized he could actually hear his own thoughts. It is about biology. Reduced noise lowers your stress levels. Jasper stepped off the plane feeling refreshed. But a quiet cabin won't save you from a bad seat. Rule 14 of 16 is the sweet spot. Rule 14 of 16. Compare the numbers before you swipe that credit card. Xavier, a 39-year-old high school coach, stood at Los Angeles International, LAX, fuming at a $5,200 business class quote. It is a total rip-off for most travelers. The airline won't tell you this, But premium economy offers 80% of that luxury for just 30% of the price. Xavier realized that carriers like Cathay Pacific are the kings of this middle ground. He paid a fraction of the business class cost, but still got a 38-inch seat pitch and priority boarding. They are banking on your ignorance of the middle cabin. Why pay for a private suite when all you really need is enough room to stretch your legs? Xavier saved thousands of dollars and didn't feel like a sardine in the back of the plane. Comfort is a choice, not just a price tag. But even a wider seat feels like a trap if you're stuck in the air for 15 hours without Rule 15 of 16. Rule 15 of 16. Dominic, a 30-year-old app designer, sat in seat 1A, watching the peaks of the Alps glow orange beneath him. He wasn't cramped. He was walking toward a private spa. Imagine washing off a long day at 40,000 feet. Emirates First Class is the only place where flying and a hot shower belong together. Luxury like this is usually reserved for the ultra-rich. But the airline won't tell you that they are banking on your ignorance of how points work. Dominic, originally from Tampa, TPA, used credit card points to book this $15,000 trip for almost nothing. Here is the fix. Search for Fifth Freedom flights. These are routes where an airline flies between two foreign countries, like the leg between Athens and Newark. Points are your true currency. For Dominic, booking a short leg between regional hubs unlocked the luxury for the price of a coach ticket. Reality check. Availability is limited and requires planning. Subscribe to beat the system. But a shower is nothing compared to the final rule. Rule 16 of 16. Do you want to feel like royalty at 35,000 feet without paying for a private jet? Felix, a 41-year-old museum curator, was flying from Lisbon, LIS, on a long-haul flight. He worried about the food. Felix knew the standard airline tray was a trap. Most travelers just accept whatever dry chicken or soggy pasta is handed to them. The system is rigged to give you the cheapest possible catering option. But Felix used a simple hack. Singapore Airlines Book the Cook service lets you pre-order gourmet meals like a 10-ounce steak or lobster. You must do this at least 24 hours before takeoff, and it is often free for premium economy and above. Felix ate a world-class meal, while others struggled with plastic-wrapped rolls. Check your route early and see if your airline offers pre-selection. It works almost every time. If you don't know these rules, the airport will take your money at every turn. Don't be the passenger they take advantage of. Join our squad by subscribing now.